Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the Best Darn Diddly Review Show. This is a weekly podcast for anyone who loves The Simpsons, or ever has loved The Simpsons, hosted by two dudes that grew up on The Simpsons. My name is Miles, better known as Mr. Most Days Off, and today we are going to do the impossible, the missionary impossible, but it takes two to missionary. So joining me, as always, your co-host with the most, Richie the Whiz Kid. How you doing today, Rich?
I was going to ask if that was a sex thing, but I also got to give you props because I was sneezing at the start of our recording and I was on mute and I saw Miles crack a smile and I thought he might break for a second because he couldn't hear what I was actually doing. But I got to give you props because you powered through that and you kept it going and you didn't break character and I appreciate that. So good for that. That improv's paying off, man.
Yeah. So when you're always in character, it helps. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But this episode, I had an idea in my brain of how this episode was going to go, and I can't tell if I was right or not anymore. So I'm interested to talk about that. And I also just honestly didn't have a lot of notes on this one. Like it seemed like I don't want to say a straightforward episode because it's crazy what happens in it, but like it kind of in a way seemed like a straightforward episode, but I'm sure you got stuff to say. So I should officially throw it back to the man that didn't crack. He is the man, the myth, the ox testicle is himself. It is Miles.
Are you sure you wouldn't like a coconut? They're delicious. So this is a weird episode, like, right? Well, you see, I don't know. Now you got me thinking because you said it's a very straightforward episode. I immediately, when I rewatched this episode, I was like, wow, this like is very different than like the other episodes that we've seen this season so far. I really love the way they played with the PBS telethon stuff. Like I thought that was really, really fun how they tied that in and bookended it. But I guess outside of that, like they were a little bit more creative with the like first act and the twist, I guess. But you're right. This is a pretty much just a Homer adventure. I mean, like, yeah. But see, even then, there's like the whole family kind of does their own side thing on this one. Like
they did. I don't even remember.
All right, you're demoted to smart girl.
Can I be Lisa Jr.?
Lisa Jr. I don't know. I think you're going to be the toaster, dude.
Yes.
It's an easy job.
Oh, that's right, Bart. That was like 24 hours ago, the last time I saw it. Bart went to work. I'm remembering now.
Oh, you were? I thought you were being facetious about not
I legit just in my brain right now, there was just Homer running for PBS, going to a tropical paradise, and then somebody else running from PBS eventually, probably in the future.
No, all the kids and Marge did do, some small stuff, but yeah, there wasn't a lot. I guess we should dive into the episode because we already are just like kind of like analyzing it from the outside. But we're talking about Missionary Impossilbe today, which originally aired on February 20th of the year 2000. In the year 2000. The chalkboard gag on this one is a belch is not an oral report. Aww. And I actually really liked the couch gag on this one. They turned the Simpsons living room into the Evergreen Terrace subway station, which was kind of fun.
There was a couch gag on it? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I enjoyed that too.
Okay, so even in the script that I have here, the very first line kind of sums up in a roundabout way, like the, I guess, debate or conversation we've been having about, like, is this episode straightforward or not? Because it says Homer's watching TV. That's not unusual, but his programming is. So, like, even there, it's like, yeah, he's doing something that we see a lot as an open, but it's an unusual version of the thing that he does so often.
Wait, Homer's watching PBS?
Hey, I'm as surprised as you, but I stumbled across the most delicious British sitcom.
Do shut up.
Which, real quick, on the commentary, they gave Carolyn O'Meara a shout out for coming up with the title of that British program. And since I mentioned it, the commentary for this one featured Ron Hauge, Steve Moore, Matt Selman, Ian Maxstone Graham, George Meyer, and Mike Scully.
All right.
And I just realized I only have two other than the Carolyn Omine shout out. I only have two other notes on this entire commentary track. So
see,
yeah, interesting, man. My whole worldview is being shifted right now.
There you go.
But yeah, Homer goes on to explain that Do Shut Up is about a hard-drinking yet loving family of soccer hooligans. If they're not having a go with the birds, they're having a row with the wankers.
Cheeky.
We see a cutaway to this actual show where we see two very soccer hooligan-esque brothers getting angry with one another about the Christmas presents. I want to believe it's
Jolly Soddy.
Go ahead.
No, you can offend the
Jolly Soddy X-Men, Major. Choke on it.
Oh, crikey. You gave me a smash on the noggin last year.
All right, I have no idea what accent I was, but you were definitely the crocodile hunter.
I had to scale it back. After I said crikey, I was like, that went Australian, scale it back. I do that all the time.
We need our boy.
No. Our caricatures are 100% actually fictitiously accurate.
Wait, what? I'm very confused at what you just said.
Me eyes.
Okay. We need our boy Chris Manley to come in and do these accents for us, I think.
I think it's less offensive when Americans do anything.
That's true. But yeah, the British mother comes in and she smacks the kids with her rolling pin thing, and she yells at them and then douses water on them. And then whenever they complain, she literally tells them that they don't have they get cricket bats out, and she says that they don't have the cobbles.
You don't have the cobbles.
But right when we're about to see a mother and son fight, it cuts back to the PBS telethon people, and there's a dude chuckling, classic. Not hard to see while it's England. It's not hard to see why it's England's longest running series. And today we're showing all 7 episodes.
Accurate.
Yeah. That's another joke that they do. The Simpsons did it first. Simpsons did it, but they do a similar joke to that on Community where they talk about it breaks Abed's brain that one of his favorite shows only has 6 episodes.
Yep. They all take arsenic and die.
So they're doing a pledge drive, and they have none other than Betty White, which is a dope guest appearance for The Simpsons to have. And interesting enough, that was not their first choice for this role. This role was actually written specifically with Emma Thompson in mind.
Huh.
Emma Thompson was pregnant at the time. And therefore unable to fly, so they went with Betty White, who I think ended up being a really good choice. Yeah, yeah, pretty fly for a Betty White.
Not guy.
So yeah, they're going on about all the things you can get with your donation, which includes things like this classic PBS tote, or this umbrella, which as Betty White opens it, features a picture of their classic tote bag.
Well, don't forget, Miles, if you watch even 1 second of PBS and don't contribute, you're a thief, a common thief.
That's a great Betty White line right there. Homer is legit just getting annoyed because keep in mind that he just wants to watch his hooligan show, and they cut it off at the most action-packed point. And Homer is sitting there why are you torturing me? And then Betty White claims that we're only $10,000 away before we're put on the conclusion of Do Shut Up.
Then he's like, oh, well, why didn't you say so? I can fix that.
Ring, 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 ring. But Bart quickly points out, Dad, you don't have $10,000.
How are they going to find me?
And Homer anonymously pledges 10 grand, which makes the host and Betty White go crazy. They're so excited. They just reached their goal. And with just one generous caller who didn't leave his name. But thanks to Instatrace, we've learned it's Homer Simpson of 742 Evergreen Terrace.
Ah! Oh, why did I register with Instatrace?
Betty White promises that there's already a PBS pledge enforcement van on the way, and Homer starts freaking out, as you would expect.
There was they showed a CD right before Homer made the phone call with like you'll get
mall
if you donate,
noises or something like that. Yeah,
museum stock noises or whatever.
Museum noises. Yeah,
like museums from and then it did one of those like New York cutaway accents. It's like the Metropolitan Museum, but we're not going to do any more voices today. So
Harry Shearer and Hank Azaria doing nothing this episode.
So I thought that was kind of funny. They did one of those Krusty the Clown type things, but I like
yeah, that's fun. Just the idea that like somebody would just want to put on like background museum noises. It's literally like somebody coughing and like a bunch of shoes shuffling.
It's literally the type of crap that PBS would do. That's the joke. Which my dad ate that shit up back in the day.
I used to watch some like the Red and Green show or something like that. Like it was like two like redneck fishermen or something. I don't know, man. It was a trip. It was a funny show.
I feel like that's actually how I figured out who Lindsay Sterling is, which she actually does make really great music. So I guess you got to give him some credit. If there might have been a random HD channel back in the day though. So never mind PBS, go away.
Interesting. It seems very unnecessary in the cable market, as Homer will point out later. But they're there with cameras in tow. PBS is there with cameras in tow to show the man who saved PBS. And meanwhile, we cut away to the grocery store where Marge and Lisa are shopping, and Lisa sees her dad on television, specifically on PBS, which Marge is instantly like, they don't show police chases on PBS, do they?
It's an honor to give $10,000. Especially now when the rich mosaic of cable programming has made public television so very, very unnecessary.
Yeah, and even the PBS people clap to that. Marge is instantly mortified, and she says to Lisa, "From now on, one of us always stays home."
Agreed.
Which I feel like they've made that agreement in the past, actually. Like, I don't feel like that's the first time they said, like, we need to babysit our husband, father.
And son, brother.
Yeah. It seems weird. Yeah, sorry. We've already done that. We did that last week. We're moving on. Homer decides to write a check, but obviously he won't be able to do that until the banks are open, which they're clearly not right now.
As you said, that banks, we can't go get the money out now. They're already closed for the day.
Betty White points out, Homer, it's only 12:15 on a weekday.
Oh, well, see, here in Springfield,
I like it was, it's like maybe in your elite Hollywood banks are open at weird hours like noon during the week. Yeah. But even when they get to the bank, Homer like reluctantly is like, well, I guess we can go check it out.
Well, no, he's looking through the window.
He's like peeking through the windows of the bank, and he's like, as it's like very bustling, he's like basically a ghost town in there. Yeah. And it doesn't stop because they basically force him in. But even when he's going to make his withdrawal, he hands the teller a note, and he's like winking in an awkward way. And the teller starts to read the paper. You are on television. Please play along. Are you robbing me?
That's after he says he'd like to withdraw $10,000.
Yeah.
I'll pay you later.
But like at this point, the guy from PBS is like basically standing over his shoulder. He's like, is there a problem, Mr. Simpson? And there are so many funny sequences and phrases and catchphrases and sayings that get quoted a lot. But this next scene, oh my God, one of two moments that I'm going to claim as my favorite today, just because Homer literally grabs the pen on a chain that you commonly see at a bank and like attempts to start stabbing this man. But the chain is like keeping him from being able to reach. So Homer breaks down and like cries and he's like, I can't do it. I can't kill a man. But like you kind of think he has remorse that he tried to kill a man, but then immediately after that he tries again, and you can tell he's not crying because he's upset that he like morally can't kill a man. He's upset because he literally can't kill the man because of the chain on this pen.
I just figured it was. Well, I thought it was like he had remorse, but then immediately he gets over it and tries again because he's in quite
Honestly,
a pickle.
either way, that's
And-
funny. I like the idea that he's crying about the fact that he can't kill the man, not because of morals, but because of a little flimsy chain.
All right, well, two different versions, same outcome. We're laughing, but the second time he's trying to stab the guy in the crotch. He's not aiming for the guy's chest on the second attempt.
It was like more of a gut shot, honestly.
No, he's aiming pretty dang low. And if you look at even in the script, it pointed out, which made me happy because I thought I saw that when I was watching it, and then I was like, no, I'm just thinking things that they pointed out even in the scripts.
Interesting. So Betty White finally calls Homer on his bullshit, and he confesses that he doesn't have 10 grand. So Betty White is she like understands. She's sympathetic,
Homer.
Until she sicks the hooligans from Do Shut Up on Homer. Like the two guys that he wanted to watch on TV are now there to beat him up for the money.
It's a beautiful day to kick your ass.
There it is. We see an entire army of PBS regulars chasing Homer down the street. Everyone from like classic like cellists to the Teletubbies who have antenna powers. We see Big Bird show up. Which they made sure to note that it's Oscar the Grump, not Oscar the Grouch. But this sure they didn't even like pretend with Big Bird right here. It just says Big Bird swoops down from the sky. Maybe they meant a Big Bird, not related.
Yeah, his beak was a little different than that. No, I have no idea.
Homer's running for his life. I like the cellist is actually like using his cello to like shoot bows at him, basically, which is kind of fun.
Right.
But Homer sees the First Church of Springfield, where Reverend Lovejoy is working on the organ inside, and Homer just runs in screaming, "Sanctuary! Sanctuary!
Sanctuary!" Why did I teach him that word?
We cut to Reverend Lovejoy actually helping Homer out of this pinch because Oscar the Grump, and Elmo or whatever they're calling him, they like literally jump through the church's window chasing down Homer, and Reverend Lovejoy defends them.
Elmo knows where you live.
Homer promises Lovejoy he'll do anything to help them, like as long as he'll help him escape. And so Lovejoy disguises Homer as all of the children's letters to God. He says, "I'm just heading down to the dump with these children's letters to God."
Oh, go ahead.
That's my other favorite joke in the
figured
episode,
as much.
for sure. And my favorite part about it is the last thing I have from the commentary on this one is that joke was actually a David Merkin joke who we've talked about many times on the show, one of my favorite showrunners, responsible for our Merkin moment segment of the show that we would do. And just I really enjoy a lot of his episodes, and I just love the idea that as a consultant he was able to pitch this fantastic joke.
It all fits together for you, Miles.
And it works out because they're convinced by Reverend Lovejoy's lie, and he's able to get Homer out of there someplace safe until the heat dies down.
Great, but why am I on a plane?
Homer, how would you like to be a missionary in the South Pacific?
South Pacific? I didn't agree to...
Slam! And Lovejoy just slams the door on him, and the plane just starts to take off. He's still like bundled up at this point.
Wait, I'm no missionary. I don't even believe in Jeebus. Let me out.
Sorry, no can do.
Oh, save me, Jeebus.
So, notable first, this is the first time, but definitely not the last time that we will hear Homer J. Simpson refer to the Lord as Jeebus, which is always fun. And also just really fun here how quickly he goes from "I don't believe in Jeebus" to "Help me, Jeebus."
I'm just wondering about
zero remorse there.
I'm wondering about the black market of people being sent to this island when you got to have paperwork, you got to have documentation. But this feels like a horror movie set up where Reverend Lovejoy just sends sacrifices.
I'm convinced that all missionary work is very much like a horror movie. You're right.
And I wrote a note that Reverend Lovejoy is a tricky man.
Yeah, honestly, that was like he filled that would be definitely taking care of two birds with one stone situation right there.
Yep.
That does bring us to the end of our first act, and we open up our second act back in Springfield, where Reverend Lovejoy is actually at the Simpsons' home, explaining that Homer is 12,000 miles away in Microasia, which is not actually...
That's over 12,000 miles away.
It's not actually a real place. Microasia is just a parody of Micronesia.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that one up.
But we can clear up the communication issue that would be in place for Homer and his family, because Homer is easily reachable by ham radio, which Reverend Lovejoy has one to give to Marge, I guess. And as soon as they turn it on, you can clearly hear Homer still desperately crying out for Jeebus.
Jeebus, are you there?
But once he lands, honestly, it's not so bad. It's a beautiful tropical paradise, and a beautiful butterfly lands on Homer's arm, and then immediately curls up and burrows into Homer's arm and clearly moves up into his brain, which is hilarious and terrifying.
It either is taking him over or it died when it got there. I don't know.
Yeah, or it's waiting for a future episode and they're just going to call it back all of a sudden and be like, oh yeah, remember when we planted that in season 11? We should probably do a season 34
It was a
episode
crayon.
Yeah, there it is. That's what that species of butterfly turns into.
That's dastardly.
We see that Homer is going to be taking over for a couple of other missionaries that are there, and he's immediately greeted by Craig, who welcomes him aboard and introduces Amy as well, and then instantly says, well, see ya.
You're leaving? Wait, what do I do here?
Well, first of all, forget everything you learned in missionary school.
Done.
We did teach them some English and ridiculed away most of their beliefs. So you can take it from there. Bye.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
And then he opens the door and he's like, no, seriously, don't let the bed bugs bite. The tribes people introduce themselves, and I'll say that every native person on the two main native people on the island that we see speaking, Ak is one of them, and Q-Tok-Tok. Those are Henry Shearer and Hank Azaria, just going back and forth with each other in their talented voice-like way. I do feel like this is definitely the type of role that would not be cast by them and this era of The Simpsons, where now they're making a much stronger effort to cast people racially appropriate.
But it's a fake nation too, so I don't know. There's a fine line in there somewhere.
Yeah, I honestly kind of brought that up intentionally because I don't know how that would work, and I don't know is right. But I would assume, since this is very clearly like a South Islander type of like a Fiji or Samoa type of thing, I feel like it would be possibly somebody like of a Samoan background or some sort of tropical island nation, Bohemian maybe. I don't know. I feel like there would be options.
Yes, the Rhapsody group be strong in there.
They introduce themselves though as me Ak and me it's me. I'm Q-Tok-Tok and this is Ak. I love Homer. Me Homer. Me hiding from PBS.
I am Q-Tok-Tok and this is Ak.
And they kiss Homer's hand, which is just like he's very confused by. They welcome him as Reverend Homer and tell them that they look forward to learning about the Bible from him.
Here you go. Knock yourself out.
He just hands them two Bibles, but they're like, dude, we can't read.
Oh, does the word jet lag mean anything to you people? Jet lag.
He's clearly in over his head at this point, but these guys are
did all the work for him though.
These guys are treating him very nicely. Like they're literally doing everything.
The other missionaries already did all the work for him. They want to learn about the Bible. Like they did the hard part. You don't see all the stuff the Book of Mormon tries to do. I mean, it's already been
done. This is where we get to the joke where they're walking around the island and Homer's drinking from what we think is a coconut. It is a fuzzy brown object with a straw in it. Are you enjoying your ox testicle?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Really? Like, you sure you wouldn't rather have a coconut? They're delicious.
No, I'm good.
They walk by some very appropriately dressed women, and Homer's like, hey, what happened to all the shirtless girls you see in the geographical magazines?
Craig and Amy gave us the gift of shame. All the naked women are on that island.
And across there, I love, there's this like line here that as I watched on Disney, I was like, wow, this is edgy. And he's like, yeah, anything goes over there. Bouncy, bouncy.
Ah.
But then we actually get a little ground rumble that startles Homer, and they explain that they have a name for that, and we call that. Oh, sorry, I had a fishbone in my throat. We call that an earthquake.
Great, now my testicles got ants on it.
Which he dropped his testicle, and the ants are indeed devouring it, so that's true.
Mm-hmm.
We then are introduced to another character, Uvalu Iu Katana Wanje, a little girl who introduces herself, but she's got a very familiar voice. And Homer immediately just says, I'm going to call you Lisa Jr. And this is funny because this character is, in fact, voiced by the same person that does Lisa Simpson.
What? No way.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like they didn't even try to disguise her voice at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So this is where we get a little bit of I don't think it was a callback, but I just feel like it's very reminiscent of the Treehouse of Horror episode, The Shinning, because Homer's going on to ask things like, so how is the TV reception here? Excellent or?
TV?
You don't have TV, but what will I watch when I'm sitting on the couch?
Couch?
No couches either? Oh man, I need a beer. And Homer literally collapses on the ground and is like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. But then the best part is all of the natives on the island do the exact same thing, imitating Homer, and what I assume they think is praying.
Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
I definitely get a little bit of the no TV and no beer make Homer something vibe in this.
I like how we're talking about Craig and Amy at the beginning of that moment, and Homer's getting upset because they keep talking about Craig and Amy, and he's like, why don't you just marry Craig and Amy? And then
I told you should have asked.
Yeah. I just called him Q TikTok. Talk.
Sounds like a rap name. Homer is bummed out about the no TV, couch, or beer thing, but he does have a hammock, which is a nice substitute, and he decides he's going to start licking frogs to see if any of them, make him hallucinate or whatever.
As is tradition.
This is I know they do this in a Family Guy episode too. I have no idea what, I have no idea which one came first, to be completely honest. I'm sure that there are some frogs that you can lick to get high. It's a cane toad, apparently, which can grow to the size of a dinner plate and produces a toxin called buaphenine, which is when licked raw or cooked, the toxin acts as a hallucinogen. There you go. So
yeah, real thing.
Though I don't know if cane toads exist on that island or not, but something seems to be working for Homer.
The cocaine toads, gotcha.
Homer's holding up one of the toads he licked, and he's starting to, it seems, trip out a little bit. And we start to hear Marge's voice start talking to him. Hello, Homer. Is there anyone in there? Anyone in there?
Oh.
But as he moves his hand, we realize it's actually Marge is calling on the ham radio. But there is a little joke here. Apparently, the lyrics. What Marge says are actually some of the lyrics to Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd, which would be a great song for referencing doing drugs.
Toading Homer.
Yeah, totally.
I'm toading out, man.
So Marge is finally trying to get a hold of her husband, Homer, to ask how he's doing. Homer's like, well, I guess I'm all right, but that first month was pretty rough.
You've only been gone 2 days.
Really? Without TV, it's hard to know when one day begins and the other ends.
I miss you, Dad. Mom won't let me read Hagar the Horrible.
And Marge explains that she just doesn't think it's funny, which sets Homer off.
I could see the house is falling apart without me. So here's the new order. Bart, you're the man of the house. Lisa, I'm promoting you to boy. Maggie's now the brainy girl. The toaster can fill in for Maggie. And Marge, you're a consultant.
Aww.
Dad?
And that's actually Lisa talking, and I love Homer's response is, yes, boy.
Yeah. I just want to tell you how proud I am that you're showing an interest in your fellow man.
Really? You're proud of me?
Oh, yes. The whole town thinks you're a real humanitarian. Ned Flanders is green with envy.
Oh, really? Well, if you'll excuse me, I've got some civilization to spread like butter on the English muffin that is these people, with all their little nooks and crannies.
Dad, are you licking toads?
I'm not licking toads. Well, time to get to work. Humanitarian Homer Simpson, over and out.
I don't know why, but I always felt like that line from Marge about Ned was bullcrap. I just, the way that Lisa and Marge talk to Homer, I'm like, I feel like they manipulate him into being a better person, which isn't, if it isn't the point of family, what is? But I just don't 100%. I just don't 100% buy the all of that part, and it sets Homer on the right path. But again, this episode,
it's a weird episode, bro. It's a weird
episode. It almost
episode.
feels like it should be non-canonical. I don't know.
You know what? That's an interesting thought. Like, it does almost feel like one of the like Simpsons comic side stories or whatever. Like, if you're reading the comics,
brought up Treehouse of Horror earlier, and it kind of fits that mold a little bit.
Yeah, because it's definitely not the normal Simpsons vacation plan, which apparently it was originally written as like the entire family was going to be missionaries, but they kind of did some rewrites and got this.
When you say it.
I don't know why I have that effect on things. So I also really like after Homer signs off and walks away, he quickly walks back and gets another toad lick in before going out to spread God's word.
Well, I mean, the first lick, it lasts a lot longer, and then you need more subsequent licks after that.
Yeah, and you're just chasing that peak from then on out.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll never hop that high again. Homer tries to like read from the Bible. He's reading from Psalms, and the Islanders are asking questions about religion.
I actually really enjoyed this part. These Islanders are smart, asking the right questions.
Yeah, they are.
Amy said there are lots of religions. Which is the right one?
Well, not the Unitarians. If that's the one true faith, I'll eat my hat.
If the Lord is all powerful, why does he care whether we worship him or not? Act just saying.
Well, Ock, it's because God is powerful, but also insecure, like Barbara Streisand before James. James Brolin, sorry. Oh, he's been a rock.
There you go.
But yeah, so Homer realizes again that he really doesn't know what he's doing. So he decides that everything in life is better with some razzle dazzle. So he decides he's going to start up some projects. And if he's learned anything from watching television, it's the Flintstones. The animals can be used as tools. For instance, this pelican can be used as a cement mixer.
Yeah.
Come on, now say something funny about how, like, it's a easy job, or it's not an easy job, but it pays, or whatever.
Oh, now, ow.
But yeah, in this version of life that is so much more realistic than the Flintstones, the pelican drops over dead.
Shoot lasers out of Yeah, it's animated. It's funny.
I laughed. We do cut back here, despite Richie's memory lapse. We do have a brief bit of time here we spend at the power plant where Mr. Burns is there to basically reprimand Homer Simpson, and he comes into Simpson's office.
Simpson.
Ah!
I've just reviewed your 10-year performance record, and it's appalling.
But I'm not Homer Simpson. And keep in mind, this is Bart Simpson, who is 10 years old and getting his 10-year performance record review right now.
I think I know who Homer Simpson is. 10 short years, you've caused 17 meltdowns. One is too many.
Yeah, but...
You sold weapons-grade plutonium to the Iraqis with no markup. And worst of all, you took the Hamburglar's birthday off last Monday and Wednesday. Which is it? Now my voice is giving out, so I'm just going to poke you for the next hour or so.
I love that joke. It's pretty quick, but basically it's not that you took off for the Hamburglar's party. That's fine. It's that you did it twice. Like your friend the Hamburglar can only have one birthday.
I like that he gets onto him for selling weapons-grade plutonium to the Iraqis, but not because he sold it, because he didn't mark up the price.
This is great, Burns, like all through and through right here. And even the bit where he's just like, I'm just going to poke you for the next hour as punishment with a long stick.
It's got to make Bart feel bad about being the man of the house now. It's not all
gives him a reason to speak out at Marge later.
I think it's going to set Bart on the path of wanting to remain 10 forever.
Ah, that's how it works, huh? So back with the Micro Asians, we see Homer's new project is... What's that?
Just the Micro Asians.
I mean, that's what it says.
Oh, I didn't think they were Asians.
Asian.
No, there you go.
Oh, either way. The very small people from another country, Richie, is what we're talking about.
Because it starts with micro? I don't even know what we're doing anymore.
It's a casino. It's Homer's project is what we're getting to. And he names it the Lucky Savage, which is just so wrong in so many ways. But even the the natives there are just like the Lucky Savage. Like, really? Dude?
No. I call bullcrap. They cannot read, but they just read the title.
Homer's been teaching him a lot in the last couple weeks.
That's the excuse I wrote down in my notes, is that I guess Homer is actually teaching them something.
Yeah, he's accidentally doing the Lord's work. That's not true. The Lord would never want people to be able to read.
Oh,
just saying, they would be able to figure things out, man. I'm just saying. But I can say that this new island casino features island blackjack, island craps, island Texas Hold'em, and island roulette.
Well, I want to play roulette because I don't know. Would it be better or worse for the ball to be moving in roulette?
Homer spins the roulette wheel, and apparently he picks 6 and wins. But then the ball that they use is actually a hermit crab, so he gets up and walks over 2 spaces, causing Homer to lose.
Don't.
For refreshments, they have a bar that serves a mixture of Driston and holy water.
And boy, does it do the trick.
That's his substitute for beer, as close as he could get.
Yeah, I think he said at the beginning of this last month, so I don't know if that's a joke where it's only been a couple days again, or if it's literally been a month, and you can't ferment beer that quickly, so he had to come up with something on the spot.
I do love Homer's send-off is, as he's opening this casino, hey, have fun, everybody, and who knows, maybe you'll hit the jackpot, get off this island, and spend the rest of your days in a tropical paradise.
Ooh, yeah.
Love that. Yeah, they already have that. Is the joke? But yeah, the casino does exactly what you'd expect a casino to do. Immediately, everybody starts gambling and having fun, and seemingly it's all good. Marge even gets a ham radio message from Homer where he tells him all about it. And there's a really weird joke, even on the commentary. It said this joke's like for 6 people. But Homer responds by saying, now I know how Bob Stupak feels, which Bob Stupak is an entrepreneur who opened several casinos in Las Vegas.
That's incredibly obscure, but
we cut to one day later. And we see the once bustling, booming economy that was given to the island because of the casino has now fallen apart already. Fights are breaking out. Everybody's trashed. Everything's broken. I think something's literally on fire. One person is holding an ace and screaming, "How can it be a 1 and an 11? What god would allow that?"
And he tries to take a swing at him.
But at this point, he's so wasted that he swings at Homer, misses, collapses to the ground, and we come to the end of our second act with Homer's Island Casino. It was a 10-minute act, I believe. With Homer's Island Casino just falling apart.
More of a casino.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. Homer is legit upset as we open up the third act. You can tell that he was like excited that he thought he had done something well, and he's like just baffled to what could have gone wrong. He even asked, "What happened? I gave you a glittering Vegas, and you turned it into a skanky Atlantic City."
Your alcohol and inexpensive buffets have corrupted us. I don't even like macaroni salad, but look at me.
And he's literally like sleeping, like face first in like 3 tubs of macaroni salad, which honestly is just a weird joke and very disturbing.
And it looked just like macaroni and cheese, if anything.
Lisa Simpson counting a lot. Sorry, Yardley Smith sounding a lot like Lisa Simpson. Lisa Jr. sounding a lot like Lisa is what I'm trying to say. Comes up. Please help us. Our island has not been this damaged since the A-bomb tests.
Oh. I want to apologize for Miles's behavior in this podcast. He was licking a lot of Toad before we started, so
I mean, I didn't know about it till today, but I'm about to start. From now on, it's going to be a Toad podcast from now on.
He's getting a secondhand licking syndrome right now. He was too close to Homer.
There it is. We cut back again to see how the promotions in the family rank are going. So Bart as Homer comes home, and Marge immediately greets him with, "Guess who I saw at the supermarket today?"
Can it wait? I just got off work.
Sorry, honey. I just thought that...
Don't you do enough yapping at the beauty parlor?
That's it, Bart. You're taking this man of the house thing too far.
You're right. I'm sorry. Tell you what. Saturday night, we'll go out for steaks, just you and me.
A night out's a night out. Oh, man. Again, these little, like, I can understand why you kind of, like, block them out of your brain. They're first of all, they're very short. They're very, very short. It's really just to kind of give a little padding, I think, like, a breather in between scenes on the island. And just also, like, remember that there's like other people in the house or whatever.
I think they also serve the purpose of cutting away when you can't write a continuing like moment in there.
I wonder if there's another way they could figure out how to do that later in this episode.
Star wipe. Oh, wait, no.
There it is. Yeah. Everything's a star wipe. So back at the island, Homer is trying to figure out how he can make things right. And he actually is building the chapel that Craig and Amy had started, but the Islanders ask him why that is, and he replies, "Because you're all terrible sinners."
Since when?
Since I got here. Now either grab a stone or go to hell.
Homer's lifting them one at a time, and there's already a wheelbarrow. Full.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he feels like he has to do it that way to, like, pay back his sin or whatever. I don't know.
Or he's too lazy to walk the few extra steps and lift that.
Or he just knew that if he lifted one, he'd get a bunch of guilty sinners feeling bad about it here in a minute. Because everybody on the island grabs a brick, or in a couple cases, just a wheelbarrow full of bricks. And within a little bit of time, that chapel is finished. Homer says, "I may not know much about God, but I have to say we built a pretty nice cage for him."
And then Lisa Jr. gives him some flowers, saying that she's going to be breaking her gambling addiction in the gambling addiction program this time. And her fingers are crossed while she's saying it.
Yeah. Q Talk is wondering how often he has to go to church to avoid going to hell. And he's really bummed out when he learns that it's every Sunday.
Oh, man.
We see Lisa Jr. is actually ringing the bell for the church tower, and it kind of seems like Homer's
Hell of a
done a
bell.
good job here, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, technically he did.
But we can see Homer's eyes are dilated again, much like they were when he was licking toads earlier. And he goes up to the top of the tower and says that since God is way up on the moon, they need to ring it louder. And he grabs hold of the rope bell and starts like yanking that thing. And bell is going crazy. It's echoing through the valley. And suddenly it starts a earthquake where like rubble and rocks start falling down. The earth starts splitting apart, and like this tower is very precariously like put in this like own island surrounded by lava, with Homer and Lisa Jr. still up at the top. By the way, it breaks in half and starts to fall slowly into the fire, and then as Homer is declaring, "Oh no, this looks like the end."
Yeah.
Right there, Betty White comes back on screen, and we get the same type of White that we got earlier when Homer was watching his show about the British soccer play or the soccer hooligans, where it just cut away from the action. We cut away from the action of this Simpsons episode to have Betty White talking about how they still need to raise $10,000 for the millions who enjoy the adventures of Homer, or should I say misadventures. It's time to show your support.
And I love that, like, you see the panel in the background, and it's clearly not a PBS one. It's a Fox one, because you see, like, the PJs, Bender, Hank Hill, Mulder and Scully in their Simpsons form, and Rupert Murdoch.
Rupert Murdoch. Yeah.
What's his face from 90210 or whatever? I think that was
Luke, one of Luke Perry. Yeah, Luke Perry. Luke Perry. But yeah, sure, Fox makes a fortune from advertising, but it's still not enough.
Not nearly enough.
It's Rupert Murdoch. So if you don't want to see crude, lowbrow programming disappear from the airwaves, please call now.
And you see a shot of Family Guy, like just the TV that says Family Guy on it when they're saying that.
Yeah.
This is not the first time they got canceled, so.
True, yeah. Hello, Murdoch here. $10,000? You've saved my network. And we cut to Bart on the phone at home.
Wouldn't be the first time.
I love that joke.
I love that joke at the end so much.
That brings us to the end of our third act. We get the normal credits, but this time when the like sound of Homer at the end, instead of the shh, it's Homer saying, "Save me, Jeebus!" And that brings us to the end of the episode. Missionary, Impossible. Richie, you still feel like this is a standalone episode or a straightforward episode?
What I mean by straightforward is I literally, it just feels like it's Homer just doing this thing the whole way through. Like it's the Simpsons will branch off, and I'm not saying this episode, maybe the term straightforward is misused here, but I just felt like, because the lack of notes that I had and the lack of stuff to say about it, that it's pretty much you're just watching it and it's going straight through the story, and it's mostly just Homer being a Homer. And I don't know. I know they go to some pretty zany direction in this, which saying that there in and of itself means that no, it's not straightforward. But I just, in my brain, as a Simpsons episode, the way Simpsons episodes are done, it feels like a straightforward episode to me, if that made any sense whatsoever. However,
I think I get what you're saying.
I will say, I feel like they rattled the Jeebus train too much on this one, and I felt this way when I saw it as a smaller individual of the age of 12 or 13. I like, they cut the act break with the "Save me, Jeebus," and it made me laugh. And then when they cut back from break, he's literally like, "Jeebus" on the ham radio. And I just remember, I'm like, you're kind of tooting that one a little too much. Let's lay off of that. And then they do it in the credits too. But I feel like I always thought the cutaway to the PBS stuff, I always wanted to see how it ended when I first saw it. And I was upset that we don't get to see how Homer gets out of it, which plays into it's not canonical, really. Like the story arc's over and there's no reset. So that it's very different for a Simpsons episode not to have the Simpsons reset. So I feel like that's why it's always in my brain where it's like not really a true Simpsons episode. But rewatching it, I was like, man, even the stuff on the island that I thought I remembered it as being kind of tacky, I actually thought it was quite funny rewatching it, all these years later. So I feel like I had a lot of bias against this episode in my head, but like when I rewatched it, I laughed a lot more than I thought I was going to. So I'm going to have to say that I enjoyed this one.
I definitely enjoyed this one. There's a lot I loved about this episode. There's a lot of memorable quotes in this episode.
Yeah.
I again, just had no... I remember the quotes well, had no idea they came from this episode. I don't think they overplayed the Jeebus thing too much. That still made me laugh. I could see, I guess, with the cut going straight from commercial back in, I guess, the argument. I thought it was still a good gag. But ultimately, I think you might have hit the nail on the head with the no Simpsons reset thing. That's a really big part about why this episode feels so different. And it is largely to do with that PBS cutaway. I think that's why I said at the top of the show, this is a very weird episode, because in so many ways, it really is just like you said. I mean, like even on the commentary, there was large gaps of time where it was just watching the show. That's great, but like, there just wasn't too much to say about it.
Right.
I didn't have a ton of notes. IMDb doesn't have a ton of notes. So yeah, in a lot of ways, it kind of does almost have Treehouse of Horror rules. Weird to think of that. Like it almost makes me wish that, based on how much I like this episode, I almost wish we got something like this on a seasonal basis. Like it would be cool if we had like a Treehouse of Horror episode, and then like we also would get like a Simpsons Adventure episode, which could break all the rules, have them do things that don't count in other episodes. But like so much of that comes down to the flexible reality of the Simpsons in general. So this one's an anomaly. I really enjoyed it. I'm having a hard time putting it in a box.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. But I don't have anything else to add from the trivia. So unless you have anything else to add, I think that's going to do it for this week's Best Darn Diddly. We, as always, do thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show, subscribing, liking, reviewing, Patreoning, all of the things that help us keep doing this every single week. Make sure you follow Richie the Whiz Kid. You can follow him online at @thewiz_kid23.
You can follow Miles at Mr. Most Days Off. And as always, as most important, follow our show. That's at Best Darn Diddly. That's DIDDLY.
And I believe we're going to be back for Best Darn Everything. I think we were discussing possibly doing Fast and the Furious, but that's a TBD.
That might be overplayed at this. We don't want to talk about family any more than family's already being talked about. But we'll
I think we can talk about the franchise without talking about the memes too much. But yeah, the memes are getting a little crazy.
Well, either way, I don't think we can record next week, Miles. I mean, I got to take the day off for the Hamburger's birthday. It's either Friday or Saturday or maybe Sunday. How about all three?
Perfect. Well, until next time, help me, Jeebus.